Hello everyone, this is Hoda Ganji. In this video, I'm going to create a set of shelves using an attractor point and a set of grid. So I want to go to vector, I want to go to construct point, and I want to bring one set of series. If I assign this to my y coordinate, it's going to create a set of grids over here. And if I bring another series, assign it to the z, and graph either y or z, it's going to give me a grid. So I actually want to limit this to this area, which is 6 meters in length, and the height is going to be no more than 4 meters. And we can also change the size of the grid. So how about I change the start point? So if this is 0, I guess from like 2.5, that seems like a good start point on the y direction. So I want to assign 2.5. To the start point on the y direction, so it starts from there, and here maybe we have enough items over there, so how about I just go with 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 rows here. So 7 can go to count. If I change the step size, I need to also change this number so it's going to fit here, and maybe on this side 1 2 3 4 and 5. If I go with 5, it's going to give me an area of 4 meters height, so that makes sense. I'll go with 5 on the z direction. For now I'm going to leave the step size on 1, which is the default number, but we can also work with that. So how about I move this here, and I want to make a group. So how about I bring one scribble and rename this as grid. This is a vertical grid, and I can group these items. Now I want to actually draw one line, a curved line, and I want to consider it as my attractor line. So how about I go here, go to 4 views. Let's see here, if I look from the left side, it's going to be there, so it's good. Project is on, and I just want to draw some freeform curve. I need to turn off ortho maybe. So let's say this is my attractor curve. So based on the location of this curve, I want to change the size of the shelves that I want to create. First, I need to read that curve in Grasshopper. I'll go with curve. So it's going to allow me to set one curve. I want to internalize the data, and I can hide this item in Rhino because we have it already here. So in order to get the distance or the closest points, so I'll go with closest points between this grid point and the curve, I need to divide this curve into a number of curves so I can get more points. So how about I go with divide? It's gonna be divide curve. Curve goes to curve. By default it's on 10. That seems good. Points go to cloud, and this goes here. And I want to actually flatten this item because you see it was a list inside a list, but I want all of them in one single list. Now, if I bring a panel, you see we have actually a set of distances here, right? So let's say if I create a polygon, relate the size of the polygon to this distance. That's what I'm gonna do. So I want to go with polygon. How about I go with 4-sided polygons? You see by default a polygon is created over there. First I want to go with 4, so it's gonna be maybe a square. And how about I do this? I'm gonna move this over here, bring one scribble, and I want to name this as my attractor. Let's group these objects. Now you see I need a plane here. A plane is actually a combination of normals and the points. So I want to go with plane normal, and I want to assign this to my plane. Now this icon here needs two inputs. One of them is origin, and the origin is actually the same as the points that we have. So point goes to origin. I want to hide this. And for the axis, how about I go with the normal of this plane, and because this is YZ plane, the normal is going to be X. So 1 unit X is assigned to the axis, and now the normal is better. You see it's on this direction, and that is going over there for the polygons. All I need to do is to change the size of the polygons. So for instance, we can go with like 0.2 and assign it to the radius. Now you see they are much smaller, right? What I want to do is that I want to relate this distance to the size, right? If I assign that, you see that there are some changes here, but actually because these numbers are too big, I want to divide them into some value larger than 1. Let's say maybe 15. And now these numbers will go to my radius and will take care of the size. So I have to make this smaller, so the items over there will become larger. Right now you see that the closer we are to this curve, the smaller the shelves are, and the other way around. So how about I actually ungroup this, move this over here, and this whole thing can be grouped together. That's how I define the size of the polygons. And how about I move this here, and these icons are responsible to create the polygon. So I want to bring one scribble, and I want to name this as polygon. This group is responsible to create polygons. Next thing I want to do is that I want to rotate these polygons by 45 degrees, so it's going to have a horizontal bottom. So how about I go with rotate? It's going to be this icon. The geometry that I want to rotate are the polygons. As soon as I assign this to geometry, actually it's rotated, but because it's rotated by half a pi, which is 90 degrees, you don't see it as rotated, right? If I want it to be rotated, there are two things I need to do. First, I need to change the plane, so it's going to rotate exactly where it is, so the same plane can go to rotation. And another thing is that I need to assign 45 degrees, which is actually 1/4 of the pi. So Grasshopper does not work with degrees, it works with radians. So I want to bring 0.25, and I want to multiply that by pi. This number goes to A, this goes to B. The output of this goes to my angle. Now you see the objects are rotated by 45 degrees. I actually need to hide the original item so I can just see the outcome. How about I group them and name them as rotated polygons. So let me group these items. Now we can work with the parameters, the number sliders that we have, to adjust this. For instance, I might need to move a little bit up, so that means the start on my z direction needs to be a little bit up the ground. How about I assign like 0.5 or 0.4, 40 centimeters to the start point, so the whole thing is going to move up. And then I can go with either like 4 items on this side, or I can change the size. Now let me try this. Let me grab that item over there, and I want to extrude that curve as a solid by 4 meters. So this is how the wall is gonna look like. Now another thing I want to do is that I want to change the size of the step size. Let me ungroup this for now, and I will group it again. And to the step size, which is the distance between the points, I want to assign 0.8 or 80 centimeters instead of 1 meter. Now I can adjust this a little bit. Let's say maybe on this side I want to go with 2.9, a little bit inside, and that all seems good over there. And maybe I can change this back to 5, and maybe I can go with 0.75 here. In order to assign 0.75, I need to change the digits to 2, so it's going to allow me to go with 0.75. And finally, this division that we had here, I want to also change this to a floating number. And how about I assign like 3.5, so they're going to be a little bit smaller. Let me group these items again. We are good here, so I want to go with extrude. The direction in this case is going to be X, which is the normal of the YZ plane, so I want to type X, unit X. If I connect these two direction and geometry to base, they will be extruded by 1 meter because the factor is set to 1. But I want the depth of the shelves to be like about 40 centimeters, so I want to type 0.4 in meters, and that will go to the factor, and now they are extruded by 40 centimeters. So how about I bring one scribble? I can say shelves. Okay, and these items can be grouped together. Now I can bake the final product, which is the extrude. I want to bake it in the shelf layer, and I can group them. Yes, that's good. Okay. We can save this file and close it. Now you see we have a bunch of shelves here. In order to assign thickness, you can easily go with offset surface, and the direction should be towards inside. So if I flip this, it's going to be towards out. If I flip it, it's actually now towards inside. By 3 centimeters is good, and I want to hit enter again. So now you see they're extruded. I can just assign a material to the shelf layer, maybe walnut wood, and I want to go to this view or to this view, change this to rendered, and this is how the shelves are going to look like.